Hi, welcome to a mini build guide video that I'm doing for a request from Gwiz. He requested this guide about 4 months ago, and I regret that I'm getting to it now, but I recently had a baby, and I kind of went into a prep mode for that, so it really monopolized my time, and now I'm glad to have free time to get back into my hobbies. And if he sees this, I'm grateful, and I want to thank him for being patient. However, if he doesn't, I hope this helps somebody else as well. So this is my Grey Garden waterfall that I created, and I primarily used one mod for this, though there are 2 or 3 others that came into play. Um, the main mod that I've used is the SOE pack, which it falls under a lot of menus, but for this one I used the one under structures. It's at the very end, SOE pack, and then they have a pool section. So when you go into the pool area, you get the water, and it gives you a lot of awesome features. They come in, most of them come in a small, medium, and large set. So for the base, I'll start with a base. I used the water pane mid, and I use the SOE pack because it gives a lot of different watercolor options that the other mod does not. So the other mod is Build Your Own Pool, and it gives blue water markers. Like, I'll show you, they're kind of chunky later. And it turns into like a dirty, murky water when you exit the build mode. So for this, it shows you the water before you exit build mode, which I really appreciate. And it gives you a lot of different color options. So I chose the Institute water because it appears to be the clearest, though there are some that are very comparable. And I just generally really like it. So they all snap together conveniently once you start building it, assuming you're using place everywhere. And this is the little base lake. I put rocks at the bottom here because I want to make the base deep so that your character can actually swim in this. I don't like building water features that you can only walk through. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I like having something you can swim in. So that's what these rocks are for. I added lighting effects from other mods, little minor touches there. But moving up the waterfall, I continued to use this SOE pack, and to the left you have waterfall markers, and the miscellaneous is actually like the splash markers. So you can see this little moving splash at the bottom here. When I'm using this in build mode, it doesn't show the water moving right now. But once you place the object, you can see the water moving. So just keep that in mind. There's a medium and a small. These are excellent to work with if you're trying to build a fountain. And I just have one large one at the base here. And then moving up the waterfall, I have a mixture of pieces, going back to waterfall pieces here. There's a medium, large, and small as well. And I just have a mixture that I formed based around the natural rock formations that were already here. I just tried to use those like indentations as the anchor points for these. So for lining these up and rotating, I'll start with this piece mainly. I'm going to use features from the Place Everywhere mod and lock this so that I can't target other objects. To do that, I use F7, and now the object is locked. So when I look around, I can't target anything else. So that's very convenient when it just saves some time so you don't accidentally rotate or move the wrong piece. Because last thing you want to do is be like rotating something at a large angle and rotate this gigantic rock and mess up everything. So that's why I lock. The rotation buttons are comma and period. So when I use those, they're going to rotate it generally left and right, depending on the axis that you're on. So the base axis is Z, and when you're on the Z axis, it will rotate it left and right. To change the axis, you can hit the right control button, and your options are X, Y, and Z axis. So X and Y they're a little bit confusing, and it takes a lot of playing with, but they both rotate up and down, but at kind of weird left and right angles. So you have to play with it a lot to get it to be at the level that you want. And you have to just cycle between the axes when you're trying to rotate up like this. So when I hit the right control button, I just change it to X. And now when I rotate it, it's tilting the left corner up, and it's actually, let's see if I can give a better example. It tilts it up and backwards, and the other corner to the back. So that's what I mean when you have to play with X and Y to get it to line up evenly. So I usually cycle between these two, X and then hit control again. Now you're on Y. And that's like the reverse of X, basically. So that is how I rotate them and get them into place. Let's make it a little bit closer to what it was. And then to line these up with the rocks, another convenient set of tools you can use is on the Numpad. You can use the 7, well, almost all the numbers. 1 will change the scale of the water. 1 and 3. So 1 will shrink it, and this will unfortunately unlock the object, so keep that in mind. So it was already at 100%. I just used 1 to change the scale smaller, and I'll use 3 to change it back. And I can also make this very large if I want to, continuing to press 3, and then back down by pressing 1. So locking it back in place, I can use the other numbers to change its position. So for example, I'm going to change this step size here so it's more dramatic. I'm using the asterisk and the slash buttons on the numpad to change the level that it moves at. So since I just increased it to 10 or 50, it's going to move very far. So that's 10. So that moves a lot further. So 9 moves it away from you. 7 moves it towards you. 8 moves it up. 2 moves it down. 4 moves it left, and 6 moves it right. So just think of like the number 5. The number 5 doesn't do anything. That's your kind of like anchor point where you put your finger, and then you move your fingers respectively to get it. It kind of makes sense. Like 8 is, yeah. Plus you have the arrows that guide you. So yeah, the big ones are 7 and 9 that aren't marked. Those are the away and towards you. And that's really all I did to build this waterfall. I'm going to add a little bit at the end of this video to show more detail for a water fountain that I've built recently. And I hope this helps. And stay tuned for the next bit. I'll try to keep it all in one video here.